Yeah, mate. Now, I've been busy cleaning out the shed, making room and stuff. So I have made a video recently. This is a poured 137 husqvarna, and these saws are very incredibly common. There's 136, 141, 142, I think, and there's Johnson Reds. Now, I found it to be incredibly painful to do what I do with this thing until I found a way to do a trick on the seals. So this has been poured. I put a fish gill in the muffler here. So I thought I'd show you. So this here's a seal for the crank, and I couldn't work out how to pull this off. The bearings I couldn't work out how to get the worm drive off the crankcase, off the crankshaft, should say. So I thought I'd show a crankcase puller. So I'll put you up on the stand and I'll show you how it's done. Because guys have used plumbing parts and all sorts of crap, but there's an easier way. Hang on, I'll just pause you. Right. So I'll start from the beginning. This saw, someone had pulled the muffler off and got a bit too active into it, and this is not the motor, but actually got inside the exhaust and scratched up the exhaust, cleaning it out or doing something. I'd say with a drill or something, and they scratched the piston. So just a little scratch, but the port had a bit of scratch. You can't feel it, but I thought, well, I might as well put a new piston and stuff because it's not there. So I chamfered it all around here, cleaned it all up, make sure there's no weak points. So it was a cheap little kit. It came with 2 seals. It came with 2 rings, which turned to be 3 rings. So I used 1. It came with a wrist pin bearing, but these ones here have a bearing that's pressed into the con rod or connecting rod. So I couldn't use that, so I'll put the spares. It came with a intake gasket. I eventually used the original gasket that was already in there because it's stuck to the intake. Nothing ever comes out the way you want. Come on. So got a gasket. So you can buy all types of kits. These things here, there's so many parts you can get for these saws. That's why I thought I'd do a video. Now, this seal here is missing the ring. I'll show you why in a minute. So that's what the go was. But yeah, anyway, I replaced the pulse line. Now these things here have a problem with the pulse lines. They always break. So I bought a 10-pack. So even the Solo 636, I originally done one with my mates. I pinched the the pulse line off the silo saw and used it on that. But I bought a 10-pack for that. This kit also came with a intake boot. So that's the original boot. It's sort of hard, but it's still worth it. I wouldn't trust it. The fuel lines, I had to replace the fuel lines. They were no good. The fuel cap was leaking. Now it's not leaking. I've got another cap for another saw. Cap seems to screw further into the tank with less pressure, so I'd say there's something wrong with the cap. Anyway, I would suggest the pulse line, replace that. These saws, I got 2 of these saws a while back. One guy says, oh, they're crap, all the rest of it. He took the carbies, said the carbies always play up. It's not the carbies, it's the crankcase seals, pulse lines, gaskets. The main things that could probably go wrong will go wrong, so replace your seals and you'll probably find you'll be alright. So we'll pull this apart and I'll show you what's going on. Now this particular one here, I couldn't work out why the worm drive wouldn't come off. It's an interference fit, so I tried, because it's a spare cylinder. I tried screwdrivers, tried to lever it off. I just couldn't get it off, so a guy in America, he put pulling a fixture over that, and he got I think a ball joint puller. I pulled it off. You can do that, but I'm in the shed sitting here by myself. I thought, well, must be some other way. And if you think long enough hard, usually you come across something that will work. So on Tuesday, I blew it off. And this is 4mm Allen key bolt. The other one was 25 torque wrench, or torque bits, stars. And that was loose. I haven't got to pull this apart yet. Well, I didn't do it. The video I might pull it apart a long time ago. Yeah, been pulled apart a long time ago. But these also have, so see, this comes apart easy. Yeah. These also have another problem. Because they're clamshell design, there's no ring. So where the clamshell seals onto the body here, the silicon lets go. And if you get an air leak through here, you're going to cause it to run bad or lean or whatever, but you won't be able to adjust it properly. So I can't wait to do a video of this thing running with a few more heat cells. But I've this apart before, it's like. So I'll pull this off. Oh, that's off. Now I always mark these when I pull them apart. So that's where I came off. I do a scratch down here and a scratch here, so you know which way to put it back on. Johnson Red's are funny, they go on one way thing too, so you gotta be careful of that. So it's still a good cylinder, I think. Yeah, it's not too bad. But when you import these things, the pulse line, don't know if you can see it, the pulse line is very close to the intake. So if you go too far, you'll interrupt the way the pulse line works. But there's ways around that. So this is the same setup. It's a hollow connecting rod. So it's hollow there. The wrist pin bearing here is pressed in, so you can't replace it. I kind of like this because it makes it lighter. But anyway, now with the flywheel, quite easy to undo the nut, get something to hit it, so, and put vice grips on that, and I'll just go like vice grips on the thing. Don't do it too tight, you'll break your fins. Undo that, and the bearing on this particular one just pulls off like that. So that comes off. So that's not a hard one. The other one, this one here, that's a hard bugger. So what I worked out, these crankcase pulls are quite flexible at the end. When I first got mine, from shipping, it was actually pushed right in. So now I'm going to do it like this. Alright, I'm going to pull the piston. Yeah. Alright, I'll put you on pause, I'll pull the piston off. Otherwise I won't be able to do it. Alright, I'm back. A bit hard getting the piston off. Did not want to come. The bit of carbon build up inside the where the piston goes in. So this piston's a bit damaged. There's no damage in the cylinder, but anyway. So there's connecting rod pin bearing that's pushed in. You can't replace it. So now the piston is out of the road. I should be able to put this tool and wind it back out. All fingers and thumbs. It's handy to have different tools. Now I have never used this tool on any other job. I've had to until now. So what I did was squeeze this part here so it fit. It should. I know it's putting pressure on the bearing, but guys, you buy kits with bearings and everything, so why not? Hope it comes off. Refit that. You actually buy the worm drives too for last night. eBay teaches you a lot. Be after numbers and stuff. I'm gonna do it now. There we go. Get back online. Get back in front of us. See if you're struggling. Just squeeze until it bites. Yesterday it came off easy, as this one's a bit tight. I'm getting weak. Come on. They make you have to be alive. Well, much I move. That's the way I pulled yesterday. Well, it might work every time. And I use a 7/16 thread socket and just drop it back onto where it had to go. Yeah. So I would say you go to Farm Tech, they actually sell the bearings and the seals together. Where yesterday I had to grind off the seal. I wouldn't buy it like that again. I'd buy a separate bearing and the seal together. Let's try that again. Why is that gotta come off? I know. Maybe I just squeeze it a bit. So squeeze that part there. Better fit. Well, when a plan comes together, but it's not coming together. Right. Sitting on the edge of the bearing. There you go. Wasn't doing it properly. Wasn't holding my tongue the right way. There you go. That's off. The flywheel's the same way. People have done videos on that. So you heat it up with a blowtorch if you want to, or just get a screwdriver and give it a tap. It'll fall off. It's actually stuck in the rubber. That's not hard to get. Now this one's damaged because I grabbed it with vice grips, but that just shows you how that comes apart. So when I was mucking around with this mode on this one here, I got some soapy sudsy water. I turned the motor over. You actually see bubbles coming out of the seal. So I thought, well, how do I get it off? That's how you get it off. The same setup before. Yeah, like that. Actually, probably do that now. Yeah, that's how I got it off last time. Just give it a tap like that. Yeah. Pull back on. That gets the bearing away from the worm drive. So if I put the pull on that now, it'll pull that off. But that's the way you do it. Grind that off. I'll do that now. Do that again. These are affordable little saw. There's hundreds and hundreds of them out there. Other than those numbers what husqvarna made. That's now off. There's the worm drive. Try and put it back on the way it was, the way it came off. You can make a mark for permanent marker texture. I'll look at it, but try not to damage it because I wouldn't use that again. Now, this particular worm drive, if it's pushed back down to that line there, because I've got other spare cranks and stuff, I'll look at where it went. It goes, it's cover that line, so cover that line just to, or get to that line, and that's it. So give that a tap, 7/16, goes over like that, so it's nice. It doesn't do any damage. That's made of brass, so that's pretty strong stuff. Now, with the seal, I angle grinded it, say 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And I use a small screwdriver, bit of railway track, and I put some, I got brand new nappies that we don't use because they're cotton ones from years ago when I had heaps of kids. I put one of them down, a bit of paper towel, and I put a small screwdriver down the side so I can break that seal. Once that gets bent, it opens up pretty easy, so that fixes that. Now, when you're putting this seal back on, that's all I wanted to talk about. This side where the flywheel is, not a problem. It's got a cone shape on there, so it flows through, no issues at all. This side, however, has the issue where it can prolapse the seal. So in this particular one here, I pinched the spring out of that because I broke the actual spring on the new seal. It didn't go on properly, so it's a pain in the butt. But when you put it on, take your time, lubricate it up with some 2-stroke oil, push it on gently and slowly feed it over so you see it's damaged. Just no good at all. So push it on and watch it as you turn. As you push it on, you got to turn the thing. Otherwise, the seal will prolapse out and the spring will jump off. Now, once you've got the seal over the bearing, you can't put the spring back on because you won't get it back off. So, lucky for me, I only had the seal on, probably about a third of the way onto the bearing, and it popped off. So I managed to get it off without damaging it. I put the second-hand spring back on, new seal. I pushed it on and took me time. You can use thin plastic from a Coke bottle or something like that, and that can fix that problem with aluminium from a can. You can do that, but just take your time. You can get on it, guys, and just it'll go pop. Once it's on, you'll feel. Now, the seals, when they're good, they're quite tight. Like this one here, it spins too easy. That seal's on the way out, or it's out. That's no good. So it should be quite a tight turn, just too loose. So I wouldn't trust that one. Once you do a saw up, if you do it, you cover all your bases, you won't have no problems. Now, have I said everything I should say? I think so. Now, this little saw now here is at 79 on the intake. It's 101, so it's 24 degrees below there. It's just a good little saw. I've ovaled the exhaust on this side here, so I've ovaled the way it looks up inside of here to make sure. I've got a torch. Yes, I do. Somewhere here. Show you what I mean. Now the exhaust on these are almost flat, so I ovaled it a lot more of an arch, so I can handle the high revs. Now I ran this for a little bit yesterday, when this yesterday before when the seals were playing up, and it would rev, but I could not tune the thing, and that's when I thought I should have done the seals when I first done. So I pulled it down, no scoring, no nothing. The port worked wonderful. So now I've done new seals. I started up last night, a little bit of petrol and WD-40 in the bore, because being a clamshell, everything's gonna be cleaned. Put it together perfectly clean. I didn't want to put oil in here. I did last time, but when you get tired, you don't want it. So I put it together dry, glued it all up, WD-40 down the holes, went it over. Anyway, I don't think it's got fuel in the tank. It's only got fuel in the carpet or in the line, because I emptied everything out. Put another saw. Anyway, I started up last night in the shed, and WD-40 stinks when it burns. Anyway, if you got one of these saws and you're ready to throw in the bin, that's what the go is. Check your seals. If you don't do them, check your pulse line and your intake boot, because that's the weakness of these saws. After that, they're a light saw. They're good once you got one running, but this thing pulls extremely fast or hard. The flywheel. With these flywheels, there's quite a bit of movement in the keyway. So the crank spins this way. So as you spin, it goes like that. So when you go to replace your flywheel, undo it, and you'll notice that the flywheel can move a little bit. Turn the flywheel anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. And make sure it goes harder against the keyway. Once it's hard up, tighten it up. So it's slightly advanced, only slightly, but it's still factory. But that's what I do to make sure I get the most out of it. Anyway, I hope this helps someone. Alright, thanks guys.